Good morning, my brothers. Good morning, Charlie.
Morning.
Morning, Robbie.
Yeah, morning, mate.
Today we've got a guest on, my mate Mark. Been friends for a long, long time, since about 1978, Mark, isn't it? Over 40 odd years.
Yeah.
Last time I see Mark, he was dressed like a 1950s gangster, and I didn't stop laughing for 3 days. That's another story, but it's the most I've laughed in about 10 years. Absolutely fantastic weekend. Thanks for all it. Boys, welcome to a game of, it's just a game of two halves. We say it a load of time, that's all football is. Unfortunately, this week, I think when the last game, which we spoke about between Madrid and Benfica, and Mourinho sent the goalkeeper up, he also sent the players out late, didn't he? So he would know exactly what Benfica would need to do at the end of it. If they needed one more goal, didn't they, to qualify for the knockout stage. The goalkeeper went up last minute, scored a goal, didn't he? Which I don't think, it's caused a bit of irritation between the teams. And then lo and behold, they do the draw, and it's Benfica Real Madrid, isn't it? And then we get all this crap. I think it was the 56th minute. Vinicius, it was an absolute blinding goal, by the way. He cuts in on the left and he shoots into the top right-hand corner. And then allegedly, a player called Gianluca Prestiani, Benfica player, has used the word mono, which for those of you that don't understand Spanish means monkey. He has said that he used the word hermano, which in Spanish means brother. But he did have his hand like this, so we don't know what it said. Vinicius Jr. has gone off the deep end. Mbappe's reckons he called him it 5 times. Why would he call him it 5 times? It's beyond me. The game got stopped for a while. At the end of the game, Mourinho got involved and said that Vinicius incited, giving it some of that to the corner flag in front. And it's just gone on from there. Literally every channel I've seen, there's every player from every era gone through talking about the abuse they suffered. Obviously, Robbie explained before the show that Prestiani is from Argentina, which is in itself quite a racist place towards people of colour, if you want to say it, black people, whatever you want to call them. Are we going overboard? I said this before the game. I think professional football and Sunday football is totally different. But as I've said, I'm 5'6". I'm overweight. I've been called a fat midget so many times that I could be a millionaire if I took. Charlie called me Derek off. Reckons I look like Derek off of Ricky Gervais the other day. You know what I mean? And if you, I know you'd think that was funny, did you? If you.
Sorry.
If you got the about every time we say things to each other, is it difference between calling each other names and colours? And I mean, we've all played Sunday football. Before we get to what we think, is it right? I've got strong opinions on this. Charlie, just give me your opinion of it all first, please.
I mean, the problem is, we're trying to stamp out racism, not just in football, but everywhere, aren't we? And it's not going to go away anytime soon. The chances are we're still going to be having incidents in 10, 20 years' time, no doubt. I mean, look, the days of bananas getting thrown onto the pitch there was that famous photo with John Barnes, wasn't it, when someone threw a banana at him, and like a well over. But there are still countries and cultures like a bit like Argentina and even Spain that are still quite openly racist. I mean, it wasn't really that long ago where England played Spain and Ashley Cole was, the fans were all like monkey chanting him, wasn't they? It does need to be stamped out eventually. The only thing they can do is come down hard, but obviously they've got to prove that the guy said it. Like at the moment, it's very much he said this and he said that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. Robbie, what's your opinions on all this week, my friend?
Well, I you know how I feel. I think it's stupid. I think it shows it's like a knuckle dragging, someone a bit stupid. You want to abuse someone, you're going to get angry in a game, you're going to say things, fine. But I don't think it needs to involve the colour of his skin. That's my personal thing with it. Some people have form. He's covered his mouth. I don't speak Spanish as well as you, but I'm pretty good. But there's a big difference in the sound between mono and hermano. There's a huge difference with it. So proving it is difficult, but the accusations are there. And I do feel, I know, like Junior has, I know, form for being a bit of a knob or whatever, which is fine. But I don't think he's going to go overboard and make that up in the middle of a game. And he speaks Spanish, so I think the guy will. I don't know if they can ban him without proving it, but something was there because he's covered himself up.
Great, Mark. I don't know if you heard any of it this week. What's your opinions of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's if he said it, then he needs to be banned. But you've got to prove it. You've got to prove it. And we're saying about players putting their hands over. They all do it now on every conversation that they have with each other. So you don't know what's said. He's got to be innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, I'm along with you, Mark. I mean, when you come out like an insult, I always think the way you get insulted, if you use the F word or the C word to someone, it's the way that you actually say it, isn't it? And funny enough, the biggest insult you could give to a Spanish player over here, or any Spaniard, and they will go mad, because their mum is at the top of the tree. The Spaniards, they're massive with family. It's called hijo de puta. Hijo de puta. That literally just translates to son of a prostitute, son of a bitch. Now, if someone said that to us, I'd go, "Oh, my mum, do you?" Like it certainly wouldn't give me the ump. But that is. All joking aside, Mark, it is the worst thing. You never say it to a Spaniard. So if he wanted to upset a Spaniard the worst, he could. That's what he could have said. I mean, I know that South American Spanish, it's a little bit different from the Castellano that most is the first language of Spain. But he could have said that, which is even worse. He's brought colour into it. I mean, the club and Mourinho have both come out and backed the player. Now, should the club, Robbie, take him out the firing line and say we will not let him play for Benfica again? I mean, Mourinho's come out and says, how can we be racist in Benfica when Eusebio was our greatest player of all time? Eusebio had to have a minder wherever they played. Benfica, he had to walk around with a minder because at that point it was a lot worse for the black players. What do you think about Mourinho and the club back in Prestiani, Robbie? Or are they right, like Mark says, until it's proven he said it?
No, I understand that, but I think someone as intelligent as Mourinho could have worded that differently, saying, I don't know, we need to check what was said. I need to speak to the player. If he did say that, then, we will suspend him or he'll be punished or whatever it would be. UEFA will suspend him. I think his words were bad, to be honest, for someone so intelligent. I get the emotion. I get after a game, you've got to back your play, you're the boss. But then to say like Eusebio, you're referencing it, which again, I don't think is the right time or the right thing to say, personally.
No, I agree. Charlie?
Yeah, I'm quite surprised at what Mourinho said. I mean, we've spoken about this in previous videos. He wants us against them mentality, isn't he? He's very much, he wants to create that atmosphere, but his comments made no sense. I don't get where he's coming from with it. Saying that Vinicius, the way Vinicius celebrated at the corner flag. Look, I get players sometimes celebrate to goad fans or players. Adebayor ran the entire length of a pitch once to go and goad the Arsenal fans, and I'm sure they called him quite a few names that day. But it doesn't mean you get to be called. It doesn't mean racism should be allowed, should it? I don't get Mourinho, and the chances are he will start that player in the Bernabeu just because it will cause an atmosphere and everything else. And you just know him. That is kind of what he is.
Mark?
Well, I haven't heard what Mourinho said this week, to be truthful. Was he just come out and backed his player?
He's basically said that Vinicius caused it. He went up to the corner flag, and I don't know, like that shaggy move you do to the corner flag. He sort of did that, but it was right in front of the fans. I mean, when Charlie goes to Adebayor, that was the furthest he ever run in his entire career, wasn't it?
And the fastest.
But I think what Mourinho is forgetting as well, Charlie, is when he was at Roma. And he had to go at the referee that time and totally out of order. That referee had to have bodyguards and was attacked at the airport and be taken out of the country. He slid halfway down the pitch when, was it Porto beat Man United all them years ago? over celebrating, wasn't in his technical era. I do think, I mean, it's a bit like John Fury. I don't know if you watch boxing. It's boring. It's beginning to bore me. And I think to a degree, I think Jose Mourinho is coming to the end of his time as a manager. I just think you are right, Robbie. It's all about him. And like before the return leg, do they take Prestiani, or for the kid himself? He's 20 years old. If he has said it, would it not be better just to pull him out and say, look, in the return leg, we're not going to take you there? Because it is going to be tasty, isn't it, Mark?
He'll play him. I've got no doubt he'll play him.
Yeah.
He will play
I agree, Robbie.
Prove a point.
Sorry, Mark.
No, he will play. I think he'll play him because he's going to warn him. They're going to target you. He's probably calculating how many yellow cards that they're going to get from it. There'll be an angle. I just feel he should be coming out saying better things.
I couldn't get it to go to.
Yeah, I agree. Charlie, should he keep him out for the return leg or not?
Because it's Mourinho, it'll keep him in. But then it wouldn't surprise me if Mourinho will go and do something at the Bernabeu. This is a manager that's notorious for going around shushing crowds. He done it at Anfield. He done it to Juventus, when he cupped his ear. So for him to say Vinicius goaded the fans, well, he's done it plenty of times. So
if Mourinho has had the player in and said to him, "Did you say it?" And the player's gone, "No, I didn't say it. I didn't say that." Then he should play him, I think, because if he hasn't said it, then he's being scapegoated for no reason.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it's brought up too much that we've had this, when that George Floyd got killed in America, and from that the Black Lives Matter, came up, didn't it? And there was people getting money here, there, and everywhere. The girl that one of them that started it ended up getting shot in America, didn't we? Had it over here. The kneeling of the players. I do think for black players, it's a lot better. I mean, when Cyril Regis was going to play for England, he thought he was going to be the first black player, weren't he? And they said, "We'll shoot you if you do." He ended up being Viv Anderson. And I do think it's got a hell of a lot better. I mean, Robbie, I hate to bring it up because it happened at your club, but John Terry was proven by a lip reader to say what he did. He called him a black C to Anton Ferdinand. And I don't think the reaction was as bad throughout the Premier League as it's been throughout Europe this week with Prestiani, Robbie.
I don't know. I mean, it's difficult to compare in the fact that it was some time ago, but there's a lot of tension, and it happened to two players yesterday, Fofana and the guy for Burnley with the Timu version of Kukureya's hair. But both of them got abuse online. You see, it's people are doing it because they think they're getting away with it. And like I said, it's not, it's dumb. And I don't think there's any place for it, to be honest. Terry got banned, didn't he? And he lost the England thing and that from it and stuff. And rightly so. There's no need for it. Be clever.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, listen, we'll call it a day there. Obviously, if you've got any comments on it, please be respectful, write what you want. If you don't agree with what any of us have said, please come on the show, put in the comments. We'll get in touch and bring you on. There's so many things I want to go through today, but I think an absolute something happened yesterday, which I don't think a lot of, let me get this ticker ready, won't happen in a lot of places again. Congratulations to Mr. James Milner. 654 games in the Premier League yesterday, which is a Premier League record. I mean, as someone stays fit for over 20 years and can play that many games but I'll tell you what, can we name the 6 clubs that he played for? Charlie, name one.
Oh, he started at Leeds, didn't he?
Robbie?
Most of the clubs, he ate matching at Man United, so.
He was at the Scousers, weren't he, for a while?
Miggy's.
Yeah, we say
yeah.
Leeds,
Mark?
Scousers.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Any Charlie? Any more?
He played for Villa. He played for City.
That's it. City's the other one, yeah.
We're missing one.
I think he played for Newcastle.
That was it. Yeah, 6 clubs at Newcastle.
I'm impressed, Charlie.
To the game. Yeah, Charlie's one of these. When I need something looking up, I always message Charlie and do some research. It saves. People think we sling these together. Let me tell you, I've been up since 8 o'clock this morning doing all my research everywhere. I mean, they ask him how on earth he got his longevity in the game, and he says that I don't drink, I look after myself, you know, I'm respectful. And he just took over Gareth Barry, which is someone else that had a long career. I've looked up like throughout the leagues, and it's quite funny. A lot of goalkeepers have long careers. But what do you think it is with Milner, Charlie? Do you think it's luck with injuries, or do you just think it is the way he's looked after himself?
I think there's always a little bit of luck involved. You know, you have a career where you don't get many serious injuries. You know, we've seen like young players who have looked so promising get one bad injury and it's just totally ruined them. So I think there's always a little bit of luck involved. But yeah, he has looked after himself. He has always come across as a good professional. Never really complained, has he? Never really moaned or come out. I mean, I don't think did he ever get capped by England? I don't think he did.
I think he played for England, didn't he? He did play.
I think he did, but he hasn't got many caps. But no, fair play to him. It's a good achievement, and you know, goes to show if you look after yourself and everything, how long you can actually stay in the Premier League for.
Robbie?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I also think he must have the right attitude in training, because he wouldn't get picked and he wouldn't keep getting jobs at top clubs or, you know, Premier League clubs. So he must be, you know, must get his head down, do the work, and be a good person to have around the changing room.
James Milner actually has got 61 caps, Charlie, from 2009 to 2016.
Yeah, he's got that many.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's obviously looking after himself. But also your body makeup as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's you get some players that are injured this week, they're injured next week, blah blah blah, and they're just injury prone. He's obviously one of these people. Yeah, he does look after himself. My career lasted a long time because I didn't drink. So no, it's
You got an hat trick one day.
4, mate. I scored 4.
Yeah. Mark was prone for getting people's asking people for cigarettes. So that day, everyone changed his name to Roberto Faggio, and it was quite funny. It was, instead of being Roberto Baggio. I've looked it up, guys. In the Spanish league, Zubizarreta, 622. He played for Bilbao, Valencia, Barca. In Italy, it was Buffon, who had 657. Maldini at one club, 647 games. And Carball in German, 602. The record, by the way, is 1,197, held by I think his name's Rogério, and he played for São Paulo in Brazil. The longest amount of clubs that anyone's got in the leagues, the English league, the top of the flight, was Peter Shilton. He played for just over 1,005 games. So it does appear that, do you think it's just, it's going to sound really funny, the goalkeepers, do you think goalkeepers, I mean, they're throwing themselves around a lot more all day, especially in training, or do you think it's because they're not running some more that they have longer careers? I mean, John Burridge, I think he was 44 when he played for Man City against QPR. He holds the record for the eldest player to play in the Premier League, and I think they lost. But do you think the goalkeepers get a long longevity in the game because they're not running around?
Less strains and tears. Not so many hamstring pulls and things like that.
I also think that they're not based about speed either. It's reactions and concentration. So I do think it's a bit different. But if you've still got it, you've got it.
Yeah, I agree. Charlie?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but they don't seem to last as long as the top anymore. Like, you know, Van der Sar and that used to play until they're 40. Some goalkeepers now, they're at big clubs, and then by the time they're in their early 30s, they seem to get shipped on. So it's quite, maybe that's because they, you know, come out a lot more, play with their ball with their feet a bit more. But yeah, it's a strange one. You don't really see like a top club with like a 38, 39-year-old goalkeeper anymore, do you?
No, I mean, West Ham did a tribute to Ludek McCloskey yesterday, who sadly stopped treatment a couple of years ago now, and he's not very well at all. But he literally stopped Man United winning the league twice, I think. You know, when you could have won the league, the first time Ferguson went mad because West Ham went down. He went, how comes they play well against us? Like, and you let Leeds win the league. And they did it again, didn't they? I think when Blackburn won the league and Jack Walker sent a case of champagne to the West Ham dressing room. But for me, that was one of Ludic McCloskey's best games. Mark, before we go on, someone sent me some messages about the FA Cup. They said, you boys missed a trick last week. What was it? And he says, what you forgot to mention was the fact that the replays have gone away. And I remember last year when Tamworth played Spurs, they should have won it, Tamworth, like literally in the last couple of minutes, but then they lost on penalty. He said years ago, I think it was Exeter, got a replay. And instead of having it at their ground, they went to like Man U or somewhere. And their chairman says, that secured our safety for the next 5 years. Because if you went, say it was Exeter, and they said, no, we'll play at Man U, because you still keep the gate receipts, didn't you? You know, and he said, you should have said that the replay should still be in there for the littler teams. And I've got to say, I agree, but yet again, it's the big boys worried about the money, but not worried about the money for the smaller clubs. So thank you, Mr. Spooner, for bringing that. Mark, I will tell you what someone else sent me this week. They sent me a small video of there was about 4, I think it was Shearer, Theo Walcott, and a couple of others, and they asked how they thought Madrid would do in the Premier League. So I've really, for anyone outside the leagues, I've just picked 4 teams. I'll pick Real Madrid, Napoli, who won the Italian league, Bayern, and Ajax. And we'll go between us where we think a full season in the Premier League, where they would actually finish. Before we get there, Mark, you've had a couple of bloomers. Mark, been a massive, massive Arsenal fan from the day I met him. And you've had a couple of bloomers, haven't you? But the league still is in your hands, and I think you'll be 2 points in front, won't you?
Yeah. It's the last few games. We've been poor. I mean, the first 10 minutes against Wolves, we were unplayable. And then we get 2 goals, same old, we sit back. And I'm screaming at the telly, sideways, backwards, and it drives me mad. We are so cautious. I don't care if we go out this afternoon and lose 2-1 to Tottenham, but let's go at them.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
But we've got to go at them. We can't keep playing this boring football, and it's awful. Personally, I don't think Gyökeres is a bad player, but we don't know how to use him. We do not know how to use him because we've played without a striker for about 3 or 4 years. We've got too many players that are they're like headless chickens. Madueke, he just runs at people and then just runs into a crowd of people and doesn't do anything. Julian Timber, he's the same. Martinelli's exactly the same. They need to get rid of the ball faster. And it's just got to the stage now where we are so scared of losing that we won't go at players. We won't go.
I think, Mark, you're coming to the end of the season, though, aren't you? Like, you know, we got 12, 13 games to go. And of course, like, you know, I think the pressure's all on Arsenal, isn't it? You know, most people said, you know, Arsenal's going to come down with the Christmas lights like they always do. And all of us, when we started this channel around about 4 or 5 weeks ago, we all said, there's no way Arsenal's going to get stopped this year. You know, you're going to win it. I do think you're going to have times. I think he plays. For me, I'd play Rice deeper. I know he takes all your corners and you've got so many goals from set piece. Eventually, people work out how to defend that, you know, and why there's no penalties given is beyond me. I mean, someone in the West Ham Bournemouth game yesterday, one of them literally pulled him back. Now, yes, we'd have lost, but come on, it's a penalty, isn't it? You pull them back. I told you, Robbie, the game West Ham Chelsea, someone pushed Somerville and the penalties weren't given. I do think if Arteta don't win it this year, Mark, I think he'd go, because I think he needs to get some sort of psychologist in there, which is very important in a lot of sports now, and just get it into them. Look, lads, you are good enough. And I actually think you're the best all-round squad in the league. I really do. Maybe that's the problem. You've got too many players. Chelsea have got a good bench. United, I don't think they've got a strong squad. And West Ham have got 11 players. You know, so I do think for you at the moment, it's a bit of a psychological thing. Although both Wolves and Burnley have really, really played well recently, Mark. I don't think it was bad to get caught by Wolves at the end there.
Yeah, we was sat back too much after going 2-0 up. So, I don't know what the answer is. I think.
Do you think you're going to win the league, Mark?
Hmm?
Do you think you're going to win the league this year?
No.
Oh, mate. Robbie, we still tipping Arsenal? My
Well,
money's still
I mean, if they don't win it, it'll be like the Spursiest thing ever, won't it?
Don't say that.
They can't go a show without having a go at Spurs, Robbie.
I know, but you got to. No, in all seriousness, I read a thing the other day. It said that was the first time in Premier League history the league leaders had let a 2-goal lead slip against a basically relegated team. So that is psychological because they're at different ends of the table for a reason. I think with Arsenal, I mean, I'm hoping they play bad next week. It depends if he can get into them because City are just going to creep up there. And it's like they've had a present. You know, they've had a present. It depends on, but their players have won titles, so they remember it. And they will just continue that. Whereas here, it might be psychological. I think they could
agree.
in this up. If they don't win today, I think they're in trouble for winning it.
Oh, it's a no-lose game today. We got to win it. But if you think about things like when we won the league up at Anfield, Michael Thomas, we won 2-0. We had to win 2 clear goals up there. Look at the previous 2 games. We drew with Wimbledon at Highbury, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we lost away to Norwich in the game before that, which put us in that situation where we had to win 2-0 at Anfield. Could you imagine if there was the social media then that there is now, the meltdown that there would have been then, because no one gave us a prayer to win 2-0 at Anfield. But I wonder, I don't know if social media affects the players at all. If they ever
agree, Charlie. Sorry, Mark.
That's right.
I agree, Mark.
Yeah, I think the main thing with why we all still think Arsenal win the league is because City just don't look that invincible side like they once had. I still look at City and think somewhere along the line they're going to drop points. I don't watch City and think they're not going to lose again. And I still think this is why Arsenal will kind of nudge over the line. But saying that today, I think there was a North London derby a couple of years back. It was whoever won basically qualified for the Champions League, and they called it the biggest North London derby ever. I mean, this today could be the same, because if Tottenham lose this game, like the trouble they're going to be, you know, West Ham got a point yesterday, and Leeds got a point, Palace have got Wolves, and it just drags them in a bit more. But then if Arsenal lose, you're sitting there and thinking they've got City in the cup final next week. They go and lose that, and all of a sudden it just looks like Arsenal are going to implode.
Yeah, I agree, Charlie. I mean, I do think you're right about Man City, but I think what a lot of people underestimate, going back to why we started this with all these other clubs would come from foreign teams, I do think the Premier League is just week to week. Like, you know, I was talking to Charlie at half time, I told you with Burnley. I do think it throws up these results, Mark, and I think the Premier League at times you get play, like you said with Wolves, they are going to go down, but then they just play out their skins, and there's not a lot you can do about it. And that is the love of the Premier League. So which brings us on, right? If for anyone else from any other country, Robbie's in Poland, so we could put one of your teams in there. Robbie, who's your top team there?
Oh, I don't know. It was yesterday. I have to bring it up.
Sparta?
No. So yesterday, you see, now Wisła Płock, which is where my missus from, were at the top. So Legia is a big team, but they're down near the bottom. You see, they're just outside the relegation place. There's a team called Jagiellonia Białystok that are at the top at the minute. I don't follow it greatly, but the team where my missus is from are in 4th place at the minute. But this changes every year, the league. But I'm not going to try and explain how this league works in the middle of this show.
I'll tell you what, Robbie, you're the one who's going to pronounce all the teams. I know that much. Right, Charlie, I'm going to start with you. Where do you think in a full English season, with all the weather, all the travelling, all the rain, I mean, don't forget, in Spain, they have a newspaper called La Marca, which is totally designated to sport. It's really popular. But every week, the first 10 pages will be about Barcelona and Madrid. I mean, Barcelona got whacked 3-0 against Atletico the other day in the first half, and they ended up losing it 4-1. So in a normal season, Charlie, where do you think Real Madrid would finish. We do Madrid and we go and do a German Italian team. Would finish in the Premier League if they played.
I still think they'd finish in the top 4. I think more often than not, you got to remember English sides do tend to struggle against Spanish teams more often than not in Europe. I know it's got better in recent seasons, but they've still got a lot of quality and everything else. I'd be shocked, if they didn't really finish in the top 4.
Mark?
Yeah, I think it would take them a season to get used to the tackles and the way Premiers. There would be no easy games. They would be shocked in their first season, and it would take them a while to acclimatise to the way the Premiership is. But then after that, I think they would be top 4 side.
Robbie?
Yeah, I agree with Mark there, to be honest. It would take a bit of time because there are a few shocks. Remember as well, all right, they've got a top team, but their league, it's very, it's not as... In the Premier League, you had like Wolves the other day, Burnley yesterday at Chelsea. That doesn't happen in Spain. It's rare. So I do think... But they
lost to
would
Arsenal yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, see, they've got massive.
Sorry, I've been interrupted. Longner's just come in and mooned at me.
I don't think you've got a wide enough camera there, Mark.
Sorry about that.
I do think you're right. They would end up being a top 4 team, but they wouldn't walk it.
No, I don't think they'd walk it.
To be honest, I think if
I think it take. I mean, Mark used the word acclimatised. I think you hit the nail on the head, Mark. Going down to Brentford, 11,000 fans, going up to Burnley. No one realises how much wind there is at that stage. If you've ever been when it's windy there, God, you know what I mean? The ball blows, especially these light balls all over the place. I think they find it really hard.
In Stoke. So I mean,
but Mark, all the changing rooms, all the facilities they've got there, all the sizes of the grounds, the way they get to the ground. Leauge's down the road, and Kevin Johnson goes. He can park his car there. He can get to that ground half an hour before the game, park his car, no queues, walk out, walk into the ground, come out, get in his car. Mate, when they're stuck in queues, geez, I remember the Man United fans going to West Ham a few years ago. All the windows got through the coach, didn't they? And you've got to get through the fans. I think it would be a massive culture shock. And I put them round about 8th or 9th. So I don't think they'd do it. So if we go on to the Italian league, which I think we use Napoli just because they've been doing well in the league. Charlie, do you think they're going to be the same or they're not going to be as high?
I think this current Napoli team, I'd put them top half of the league. I'm not entirely sure where. I don't think their team is overly great. I don't think the Italian league is as strong as it once was either. So, yeah.
Robbie?
Yeah, I think Napoli will be fighting to get a European place, 7th, 8th. I don't think they've got enough strength there, and the style of football you need to change in the Premier League. Every team you play against.
Mark?
Yeah, I think about halfway up, I don't think they'd like teams pressing them. Like the way the Wolves and that, the movement off the ball, and when they've got the ball, I don't think they'd like that at all. So I
think you're right. They like time, don't they? A lot in Italy, they do seem to get a bit more play. Now, my team, who I think would do the best out of all of them, to start off, because the weather's very similar, is Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich. I think Bayern Munich would be fighting for the title in the first, if not in their second season. Charlie?
Yeah, I think out of all the other leagues, I think the Bundesliga is fairly similar to the Premier League. So, yeah, again, I'll definitely say minimum top 4 with their team.
Mark?
Yeah, totally agree with Charlie on that one. Yeah, because it is very similar to our league. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Robbie?
I think it'd be another one. I still think it'd take a year because it is similar, and I do think they've got a team that's kind of set for the Premier League. However, there's a lot of players that come over from there, like we had Havertz and Werner, that suddenly struggle. I don't know if it's just the pace of the game or the way it is. So they would be, for me, a bit like Madrid. They would need a season to get used to it, but they're probably built more for Premier League and the stadiums they've played in and stuff. The atmospheres, I think, would help them.
Yeah, I agree. Now, this one's been bandied about for, since I was a kid. Should they be allowed in the British Premier League or the English Premier League, whatever you say. Let's be respectful here, boys. So I'm not going to ever pick between Celtic and Rangers, but you can pick spin a coin between them, I suppose. If Celtic and Rangers were to come over, Mark, you speak first, and then everyone can have a go at Mark if he's a bit disrespectful.
Celtic or Rangers, halfway up.
Yeah.
Celtic would be. No, I think halfway, if not bottom half. I think you've only got to look at the Champions League qualification. Was it Karabag that Celtic lost to? They lost to Charlie. Who was it? Celtic lost to in the qualifying.
Yeah, I think
Like the Azerbaijan team.
Yeah, that's who Newcastle just whopped 6-1, wasn't it?
6-1, yeah.
Yeah, I think they'd really struggle. Really, really struggle.
Robbie?
Yeah, I think they'll be down bottom half, down there with like Spurs and Bournemouth and Palace, teams like that. They've got big stadiums, but it doesn't guarantee, or big good fans doesn't guarantee a place. I don't think the team's anywhere near good enough.
Charlie, we're going to get some stick off some Scottish people here, boys.
I think their current teams, I do think they'd struggle a lot. I think if they finish 10th or higher, I think they'd do quite well. And I know their fans would be like, well, if we had, the Premier League money, we'd have better teams and stuff. But on current team, I think they really would struggle.
Well, I was just looking at the league at the moment. It's Hearts on 65, Rangers 55, Celtic 54. It'd be great for Hearts to win the league. I was speaking to a Falkirk fan, a guy named Gordon, a real lovely guy. And he told, I didn't realise that Alex Ferguson was a centre forward. And he said when he used to go years ago, Ferguson was his favourite player. But he said to me that he thinks Hearts will come down. They've just lost their main striker. But I mean, with how many games to go, it's looking good for Hearts at the moment. Personally, I think they would grow into the league. I mean, do you remember when they had Jesper Larsson playing for them? And they really wanted to come over, didn't they? They said he would take the league. He scored wherever he went. I think, he did score wherever he went. Personally, I think they would do better than we think. I don't think they would get relegated. I think the Scottish fans are wonderful fans, like the Welsh fans. And I think, that to start off with, round about midway. I think round about midway does it. Which is strange, really, because a lot of people are saying to you at the moment that the Premier League is not the strongest. It's certainly not the most skillful league in the world. And yet we've all said that if we bring teams in from another country, we don't think that they would push for a shot at the title, Charlie.
I think with Celtic and Rangers, you look back at their teams in the 90s, early 2000s, and they did have good teams back then. They really did. But not anymore. Like, I don't look at Celtics or Rangers starting 11 and think, I'd like that player at United, or I'd like that, or he'd be good at, or City should go and take him or anything like that. I think Van Dijk went from Celtic to Southampton, didn't it? So with their kind of teams at the moment, a few seasons, once they get the money and everything, I'm sure they could get better players, but not right now. I don't think they'd do anything. But I still think this is, in terms of the Premier League, I do think it's one of the poorer leagues, but it's also a league that's throwing up very strange results this year. So,
yeah, I agree, Mark. Mark, you got anything else to say on that matter?
Not really. I don't think.
No, Robbie?
No, I don't want to be disrespectful because it's people's clubs in that sense, and they are huge. Can't deny that. But when I look at the teams in Europe, they struggle. If they play an English team in a European game, then it's a one-off. It's a cup final, and the atmosphere and that is usually brilliant. And they will put up, a proper fight in the game, and they will win some of them. I think I remember watching Celtic beat United years ago with my mate. I think they won 3-2 with the Nakamura, if I pronounce it correctly. So you're going to get that, but week in, week out, I don't think you'd get that, personally.
No, I think it's a long league, the Premier League, and I think it gets elongated. I'm sick of all this European football, if I'm honest. It's far too much football. 1 minute they want the players, they're playing too much football. That's why they've not given replays to the teams in the FA Cup. But they go and bring this bloody Nations League on, and they extend the Premier League. So don't FIFA go on. It just does my head in. Now, just quickly going to the other leagues, I spoke with a Coventry fan yesterday and everything went right. I watched the Coventry-Middlesbrough game in the week, which was a real good game. Coventry had a real bad run of results, but they won it. And yesterday, everything went for them. Millwall lost, Ipswich lost, and obviously Middlesbrough lost. And of course, the first game I ever got taken to by my uncle Paddy, who sadly passed away this week, and was Leyton Orient. So it's always got. I always look every week. Both Charlie and I, we went to the playoff final at Wembley where they lost. Charlie didn't, haven't they? Lost to Scunthorpe. It shows you how tight these leagues are. In League One, I call it the old second division. I always call it. They was in the bottom three at the start of yesterday, Orient, and they beat Northampton 1-2. And they've gone up to 19th in the league. That is going to go right down to the wire. I'll tell you, both that league and the championship, as they like to call it. But I like Coventry. I've got some great memories when we spoke about the cup final. Yeah. They beat your favourite team, Spurs, 3-2, didn't they? Keith Leauge got a diving header. I think Spurs was in 3 cup finals in a row, weren't they? Didn't they beat QPR and then they lost to Coventry and then they beat City, I think. Did you do 3 cup finals in a row, Mark?
Yeah, we lost to you lot.
You lost to Ipswich, didn't you, in 78?
West Ham, and then we beat Man United 3-2.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Talbot played for Ipswich in 78, and he's the only player to ever play 2 winning teams, different teams. He played for Ipswich in 78 and Arsenal in 79, didn't he? Just before we move on, Mark, did you see our video last week about the magic of the FA Cup? Do you still think it's magical? Because we've had great response.
Not anymore. TV's ruined it. It's just not the same anymore. You remember Cup final day? It used to be get up in the morning. You used to see the players get on the coaches and all that. It was a day thing, and it was fantastic. But now, the atmosphere at the final is pants. I think each team get 21,000 tickets for the final, and the rest are corporate. So you're looking at 60,000 corporate tickets. Mm-hmm. I can remember we played Newcastle and Anelka scored. A guy sitting in front of me asked me which team was Arsenal. And you think to yourself, I've had to put all my vouchers in the programme from every home game to get me and queue up for 4 hours for a ticket. Right? And I'm thinking to myself, a lot of my mates didn't get tickets. They've been to every game. And I've got this muppet sitting here who doesn't even know which team's Arsenal. And you will have that at Wembley this year with perhaps 25,000 people there that have got absolutely no interest in football.
Can I add something to that, Mark? Because you're spot on. Years ago, I went to an England game with one of my mates who's not with us anymore. And he's a great big guy, my mate was, and a big Millwall fan. And we were at the England-Chile game. I think that Salah scored a couple of cracking goals. And when the bloke in front is screaming, he's offside. And my mate taps him on the shoulder. Now, my mate was, 6'2", probably 18 stone at the time. And he went to the geezer and went, how can he be offside in his own half? He went, and then when we left, he went, I don't want to go to Wembley anymore. I don't want to go to games when it's like that because they're not football fans going.
Yeah, I agree. But Robbie, I do think as football fans, yeah, and I'm not talking about cup finals, Mark. I am 100% with you. I mean, going back to you, Robbie, if you speak to a load of old players from Peter Osgood's days, they said, like a lot of the clubs, they get tickets for the cup final.
Yeah.
So clubs get, even though they're not there. They reckon Peter Osgood used to turn up with a suitcase full of money and go, right, who's got tickets? And give them pound notes and then sell them on the black market. I remember years ago, Tommy Cooper, when they did the Royal Variety Show, they're not allowed to speak to the Queen then. And as she was walking down, shaking her hands, he went, ma'am, are you busy on Saturday? And she went, what? He went, are you busy on Saturday? And she went, Mr. Cooper. He went, well, if you're not going, can I have your 2 tickets for the cup final? That's how it used to be years ago. People wanted tickets. Brilliant. But I do think a lot of people at West Ham at the moment, right? I'm putting my businesses on, right? As a director. They're boycotting games. They're not happy with the board. We've had this with Charlie and the Glazers. We had it with Ashley at Newcastle. We've spoke about it. So they're not going. Now, as a football fan, yes, you can see the white seats, especially on the TV. It makes it look worse. As a businessman, let's say my head now is as the chairman, the accountant who's got to pay the bills. Is it not right that I would fill them seats with anybody just to bring money in? Or is it not right, Mark? You brought it up.
Yeah, they should do. I mean, they should. Games, we're not Mansfield in the FA Cup. It's not going to be a sellout. It'll be the first one this year for Arsenal that I don't think it's going to be a sellout. Mansfield will bring 9,000 because that's what they get for the away tickets now. Because everybody in Mansfield's going to come, aren't they? So it's fill it with reduce the tickets, kids for a quid.
I agree.
I mean, our prices have gone up by 3% again next year, making the cheapest ticket at the Emirates now about 70 quid.
It's ridiculous, Mark. Robbie, you think we should fill? If we can't build,
I think they do anyway. I think they fill them anyway with tourists and stuff. It is a shame, particularly like a cup final when a real fan can't get a ticket. That's disappointing. But they will take anyone in. If you've got a restaurant or bar or whatever, you just want people in there spending money. It's just the culture of you're more like a customer than a fan that I don't really like. Maybe
that's football right the way across the board now.
It is, and we're old-fashioned and all that. But it's just, my opinion. It's a bit sad, but
it's not football anymore, Robbie. It's a business.
That's why stadiums like the Olympic Stadium, the Emirates, it's fucking flat. It's dead.
Mark, we're not supposed to swear on here. You're the first one.
I know, right. But
Charlie,
sorry, gentlemen.
I understand having a small section for corporate, right? Because, they want to attract whoever to it. But I think the biggest problem now for us is, and they will just replace it with, tourists and whoever else, because they're like, well, don't go. From a business point of view, they're like, the diehard fan, they don't care because they'll just replace your seat with someone else. I mean, briefly going back to the FA Cup thing, one of its biggest problems I've always felt is Wembley Stadium as a whole. It's very rare you get Wembley Stadium rocking as an atmosphere in general. There's not many times where you're like, watch a game, you're like, God, the atmosphere was incredible when it was at Wembley. And then you get to the cup final, and don't know why. At every cup final, at the start of the second half, and you just see a sea of red because they have the camera right on where all the corporate seats are. And they don't care. They're not rushing back to their seat to get to the second half. And, in June for the World Cup, you watch how much of a section there will be just for, FIFA delegates and UEFA delegates. And they don't care because at the end of the day, for them, the people they want are there and they'll sell that ticket one way or the other. It's wrong because us as football fans, we love a good atmosphere. It's what makes a football match great. Again, going back to, FA Cup replays at Villa Park or places like that, great atmospheres. But they don't care. They're just like,
finals shouldn't be at Wembley.
No.
Maybe not. No, I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, I love the FA Cup. I've always loved the FA Cup. It's probably the only thing West Ham can win. Now, Robbie did want to talk about chants, but I think we should football songs. I don't think we've got time today. Yeah, we'll do it next week. I think all of this, we've still got trouble going on with now America has said some teams' fans can't go. I mean, there's been an English woman this week with a visa locked up, by this ICE. And I think it's just becoming a joke. And we've said it all along. We started the show with what happened with Prestiani with racism against Viniscus. I've said it before. The American president who received the Peace Prize put Obama and his wife said on Two Monkeys a couple of weeks ago and put it on social media. It was up there for about 12 hours and got took down. I think if we are going to stop racism, to finish off, it has to start at the top. And I think you're always going to get, going back to the chants, Robbie, you're going to get teams that make up a song about someone. I want to bring it up, actually. I was going to bring it up in the chants. Talk Sport at the moment, like they're like this Simon Jordan and Jim White, and I can't stand them, and they are we're right with it, and they've been this week. I remember years ago, right, there was a guy played for Nottingham Forest, black guy as well, by the way, this Righteous Channel, and they had two blokes still on, Hawksby and Jacobs, I don't know if it was Jason Lee or Jason Roberts was his name, Charlie. Do you remember he was a striker, black striker?
Jason Lee.
And he had his hair put up in a bun.
Got
And
a pineapple on his head.
They all start on the TalkSport commentator shouting out, he's got a pineapple on his head. He's got. After that, every ground he went to, they sung it to him. And it ruined him. He lost his confidence. He ruined his career. So I think if you're going to be as righteous as you want to tell everyone else to be, start with yourself. Gentlemen, it's been a great day. Let's have a prediction for the Arsenal-Tottenham game, Charlie.
2-2.
Oh, Robbie just fell off his chair, Robbie.
Yeah, I want about 5 red cards and a point deduction. No, I actually think I think Arsenal will actually beat them. To be honest, I think it might
3-0 to the arse.
Yeah, I think it'll be scrappy.
Well, apparently he's coming all guns blazing, this Igor Tudor. None of us seem to know a lot about him. If anybody does, Charlie told us a bit about him. But he's gone bosh, out the door to certain other teams. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't work. And it didn't work when Jim Ratcliffe come in at Man United and started getting rid of all the local, the tea lady, the bloke that cleaned the carpet. We'll see. Sometimes you have that new manager syndrome, like has happened at Man United with Michael Carrick. Maybe it will come in. Personally, I think Spurs are in disarray, and I think it's been coming for a long, long time. And last year, with all the Postecoglou, he's now come out on TV and said he was stopped from buying people, told he couldn't spend this money. So behind the scenes, I think, what's the name went, didn't he? Daniel Levy, who was at the helm of the club for a long, long time. There are problems at Spurs. And just like there is at West Ham downwards, I think if that happens, it then comes down to the players. So I think they're in for another hard season, Spurs. I do think they stay up. Mark, who do you think they go down?
Your mob, Wolves, and Burnley. Yeah.
I think you're not far off there. It was a tepid game, the game against Bournemouth yesterday. They just negated each other, and it was an awful watch. Guys, we are going to finish it there. Have a fantastic afternoon. Mark, it was an absolute pleasure to come on. If you want to come on in the season, please come on. Guys, please write in the comments. Like I've said a million times, be respectful. And we respect you, you respect us, and just say anything. I'm a great believer in men's health. I'm in a men's health group. I've got a big meeting on Tuesday. If you are depressed about anything, you are worried about anything, always talk to someone. It's always best to get it out and talk. Never. Guys, have a great day. We'll finish it there. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Martin, I might need to talk to you about men's health after the